Spirituality has been a trend. In 2023, 70% of US adults consider themselves spiritual in some way. And it's not just a stat, you can also see it as well.
This is the entire universe.
I'm gonna start my spiritual journey. I want to dive into this.
I hate when people say, I don't believe in spirituality.
Everybody wants to grow spiritually. There are all kinds of new guides to become enlightened, how to raise your vibrations, how to manifest the life you want, all the new age promises.
I owe everything to this manifesting method.
The number one way for you to manifest anything that you want in this life.
Spirituality is not for everybody. It's not for the weak.
I am also someone who are very interested in spiritual development, so I tried to learn it. I read different books, I learned about divinations, different vibrations, but I also had a weird feeling about it. I found these advice on spiritual growth a little bit removed from life. It encouraged you to evolve into a higher being, something better than yourself, better than other humans. And they tell you become enlightened when you strip off of your ego, that the ego is the enemy, and that low vibrations, feelings like anger, envy are just bad, and you need to live like a higher life. While there's some truth in the discourse, I don't particularly like how they position themselves as something superior, which makes spiritual growth less accessible to the mass because they try to detach from the normies like us. In my very own opinion, I believe that spiritual growth is beautiful, it's enriching, and it's welcoming. I believe that spiritual growth is for everyone. So today, I will explain to you my thought process, what my journey has taught me about spiritual growth. It's not about religions, though it might be related. It's not about the woo-woo stuff, even though I really am curious about divinations. I will tell you what I had to realize to start the spiritual growth journey, and my hope is that through this video you would gain a different perspective on spirituality, so that the next time you encounter it, you can be more open to listen to whatever lesson or message that comes your way. So here is how I define spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is something important if you want to become a whole holistic person. To grow spiritually, you must recognize the interconnectedness of life and find your place within it. Which means if you're someone who are interested in growing spiritually, you need to answer two questions. How is everything and everyone connected? And how am I connected to everything else? The soul of the world. Santiago is a young and adventurous shepherd. He has a recurring dream every time he sleeps under the sycamore tree. The dream tells him to find the treasure at the pyramids. He eventually decides to fulfill his dream. Through his journey of self-discovery and following omens, he learns about the soul of the world. So this is the story of The Alchemist, a famous book that took the world by storm. And even though it's a simple story, when I read it about 5 or 6 years ago, I was really impressed with the concept of the soul of the world. The soul of the world is an interconnectedness between all living and non-living things. It is the notion that everything in this world has the same heartbeat, speaks the same language, the language of the world, is the positive force that gives everything a personal legend, or a life purpose, or a calling. In the story, the more Santiago connects with the elements, the more he learns to follow the omens and observe life, the closer he gets to fulfill his personal legend. And this reflects our reality. When we see how things are connected in life, we can see the different gaps and demands, and when we fulfill those needs, we are also a part of the network of life. And one can argue that at the end of our life, that is our life mission, is to give something to the world, to serve, to support, to be connected to something bigger than ourselves. I've also talked about purpose and how one can be connected to a lot of other things before. If you're interested in the topic of purpose, you can check it out here. And even though The Alchemist is sort of a fiction, we can also see this interconnectedness in our reality. In the old days, farmers used to look at the constellations to mark the changing seasons. They can also observe clouds or animals' behaviors to predict catastrophe or natural disasters. And if we observe nature, if we place ourselves among the fields, a garden, you can feel the same connection with the world. It's the way that the trees also breathe with us when we breathe with our lungs. It's the way plants exhale oxygen so that we can inhale it. It's also the lungs of the earth. It's the cycle of life that everyone has to go through. It's how animals have breathing seasons and they go into hibernations. And we don't have to go too far to understand the web of life. The human experience is also a universe within itself. The human experience is at the intersections of all fields of study. Imagine if we have to explain to an alien what it means to be a human. We have to teach them all kinds of disciplines, right? We have to tell them about our biology. We have to tell them how we build houses, how we drive cars, what we think about life, what our philosophies, what's the blueprint of our mind, how we communicate and create ideas through culture, language, through arts. And if one person becomes arrogant and they think that their specialty is way more important and has influence over the others, then they are missing a chance to see life as a whole. I also made these mistakes. I used to be a very mind over matter kind of gal. I had to learn to appreciate the physical world, the things that other people are doing to help better our material life. I had to learn that each of us sing our own songs in our own instruments to form the music of life. To grow spiritually is to learn to see and enjoy the symphony of life. This interconnected of life, this web of life has many names. Many people call it consciousness, life with a capital L, universe with a capital U, or God. Whatever you call it, I'm sure you have experienced a glimpse of this interconnectedness. And our job is to lean into it. In order for us to understand the soul of the world better, we need the help of the ice cream sandwich chart. So here's my ice cream sandwich chart I drew about a year or two ago. I'd love to boil things down to like graphs and charts so that it's very visual and very understandable. So this is how I imagine the soul of the world to look like. So if you look at this from afar, this is the soul of the world, consciousness, life, universe, whatever names you want to call it. It's pure and it's white. But if you look closely, they're tiny dots. These are all individual lives, our individual souls. Each of our soul is a branch of the soul of the world, is the limb that comes out of the body. This is also how we exist in real life, right? Each dot represents a different person with a different life, a different color, different consciousness, and we experience things very differently. But if you zoom out, you're part of the soul of the world. It is similar to how you let light pass through a glass prism. It's refracted and dispersed into a spectrum of colors. So this is a closer look at how each of the soul is connected to the soul of the world. My thought process is we often get glimpses of the soul of the world because we have access to it. We have access to great potentiality. We are, like people say, limitless. And so you often see how artists has their genius streaks, how they might use creativity to access this source, to become a vase, a medium for art. to let inspiration flows through them, materialize into an expressions, an art. It's also why people experience flow. That's when they perceive their soul to be hyper connected to the soul of the world. In the opposite way, each of our own soul experience also impacts, also strengthen the collective consciousness. Everything we invent in the real world, everything we materialize, go back to build the experience of the soul of the world. We in turn make this stronger, more connected, and makes more sense to the human perspective. And through this process of giving and receiving, we have the ability to connect it to the other colors between us. This is how empathy works, right? If you want to understand someone's experience, you put yourself in their shoes, or if you experience life with them, your life becomes much more colorful because you're seeing the world through a different lens. We rely on each other to experience the world fully, and that's why it feels so nice to share our experience with each other. It is we who nourish the soul of the world, and the world we live in will be either better or worse, depending on whether we become better or worse. And that's where the power of love comes in, because when we love, we always strive to be better than we are. This is the basis of compassion, of empathy. By knowing that we are part of this large network, we can access this network, and that's how we come to a full understanding of the world, of the life that we're living in. Remind yourself, I am a single limb of a larger body, a rational one, or you could say a part, only a letter's difference. But then you're not really embracing other people. Helping them isn't yet its own reward. You're still seeing it only as the right thing to do. You don't yet realize who you're really helping. If we learn to understand this interconnectedness, how can we hurt other people if they are connected to us? How can we harm the other limbs of the body? How can we exploit nature? How can we neglect its life when it's tied to our own life? When you realize this, you start on the journey to grow spiritually. You start on the journey of exploring this connection. And you do it by living your life to the fullest, being present in every moment. You experience, you make mistakes, you observe, you pay attention to the world around you. You would make friends, you would have lovers, you learn to be open to their perspectives, to live life through their point of view, to expand your own point of view, to expand your consciousness, and realize that you have always been connected to the collective consciousness. I really do hope that for you and for everyone, I believe that everyone is their best self when they feel connected to themselves and to the world around them, and to learn to respect that connection, to maintain it, life will become less challenging and more exciting. It's a very heavy and complicated topics to explain in one video with my very limited understanding, but I hope that through this journey I will learn more and more about it so that I can grow my skill, grow my understanding, and I will eventually be able to explain to you everything that I know. So thank you for being here. Thank you for becoming a part of my network of life. I hope to be of value to you, and so see you again very soon. Bye-bye.